A lot of us have found great success with using the Wind Serpent inside of BFD and parsing really high numbers and getting really strong results out of it. Moving into phase 2, we want to stick with that same pet, right? Actually, all evidence points to no. Let's get right into it. So the grand old debate between Wind Serpent or cat, or Wind Serpent versus Raptor. The reason why we're wanting to make the switch to the cat before phase 2 comes out is because of a couple things. First of all, let's start with the most overlooked change that came to BFD during phase 1's cycle. All of the bosses had their resistances across the board nerfed. This includes nature damage, which is the damage type that Lightning Breath does. So our Wind Serpent was getting a lot more effectiveness out of Lightning Breath, combined with the fact that the Beast Mastery Glove rune is going to empower those attacks and make it so our focus regeneration is good enough so that we can be pumping out Lightning Breath repeatedly and also biting. This is what really made the Wind Serpent so strong, because the Wind Serpent was able to Lightning Breath and then also bite, which are both bigger cooldowns that are able to keep their focus more depleted. So the resistance nerf combined with also the Beast Mastery rune really packed both those things together to make the Wind Serpent super strong. Now, why does that matter? Well, because when we move into content past BFD, we're not going to have that global resistance nerf to the things we're going to be fighting in the future bosses. Now, you might be saying, well, we're going to have Curse of Elements in the raid. In phase 2, we're going to have access to this in our raid groups. However, take a look at the elements listed on Curse of the Elements. Notice nature resistance is missing. So we're not going to benefit from Curse of the Elements when we are casting Lightning Breath. Second, for the case for cats, is the fact that we're going to be able to pick up a new talent called Frenzy. Frenzy is going to make it so that when you're getting crits, when your pet's getting crits, they're going to add a buff to themselves, giving more attack speed. This is when those attack speed cats really shine, because you're able to get more attack speed based on your crits, which leads me to the third case for cats. Cats actually also have a 10% increased modifier when it comes to just damage in general. If you look at all of the pets stacked next to each other, and more specifically, if we compare the cats versus the Wind Serpents, cats have a 10% and then Wind Serpents have a plus 7%. So we're getting a little bit less. Also, this Frenzy rune, where this is really shining, is when we're doing a bunch of claws back to back to fish for more crits instead of spending time with Lightning Breath. Lightning Breath is just not going to keep up when it comes to the cats in phase 2. All right, have I convinced you? If I haven't, no problem. After all, Season of Discovery is about just playing with a pet you want to play with. You want to play with a turtle, man, like go for it, do what you want to do. But I'm just saying this mainly for if you are interested in trying to get the most out of your pet, I have more information for you as well. So when we're talking about cats, there's two camps of cats. There's the slow cat, fast cat. The reason why slow cats have been performing really strong is because we're taking Flanking Strike with one of our rune slots. More particular, if you are. Not all of us are taking Flanking Strike, but if you are using Flanking Strike, then when you do the Flanking Strike attack, your pet also attacks with their normal attack as well. It forces an attack from them. Now, what's nice about this is that if you are playing with a slow attack speed cat, it's going to do more damage with one attack. If you attack less often, each attack DPS wise is going to be more valuable. So if you're forcing an extra attack with a forced attack from a Flanking Strike, you're going to get more of an attack that a 1.2 attack speed cat would have, because you have your DPS more distributed across more attacks, making it so that your Flanking Strike, at least the attack portion coming from your pet, is going to be less than it was if you had a slow cat, a 2.0 attack speed cat. That was a mouthful. So what can we do with this information? Well, in particular, when we're talking about stacking and maintaining that frenzy buff, we're going to be able to maintain that pretty easily if we're talking about, especially if we talk about 1.2 cat. If we're doing a 1.2 attack speed cat, you want to take only 3 points inside of Frenzy, because you're going to be able to maintain that no problem. You're just fishing for crits, and each time you crit, you refresh the buff. You're going to be critting enough that you should be able to keep it. If you want to be extra careful, you can do 4 out of 5, but I would recommend definitely going 4 out of 5 if you're doing a 2.0 cat. 2.0 is fast enough that it can maintain at the 4th level of the buff. You wouldn't need to go to 5. This frees up a little bit more of our points to be able to go into the focus talent over here. Or when it comes to leveling, I like to go Spirit Bond because it's going to help with just regen and just helps to regen between fights. But of course, when we talk about raiding, and we'll get into that a little bit later, raiding, we're definitely going to be taking the energy buff here. Now, next consideration you need to have, all of us are going to be going into our leveling journey solo, or if you are going in a party, there's a couple different choices when it comes to what you want to take on your leveling journey as a pet. Personally, when it comes to soloing dungeons, I have a really strong choice with the carrion bird. I have a full guide going over the carrion bird, why it's so strong, a couple gold farms you can do with it, and how you can get it and make sure it's up to its max potential. That's linked in the description if you want to take a look at that one. But otherwise, guys, when it comes to choosing between your 1.0 versus 2.0, you really could go either way here because the DPS difference is negligible. The one consideration you do want to have, though, if you are running flanking strike, if you are doing melee weaving, then you might want to consider doing a 2.0 cat because that forced attack is going to be a little bit more than it would be if you're doing a 1.2 cat. Now, no worries because the 2.0 are a lot more available. There's a lot more of the 2.0 cats, unless you're on the Alliance. Unfortunately, Alliance is going to have to make a trip all the way to Durotar to be able to grab one of those Savannah Lions. There may be a closer one, and Alliance players, I'm going to look to you. If there's a closer one for Alliance players, please let me know in the comment section below. So Horde, take a look at the Baron's Lions. Just avoid Humar, avoid the Rake, because both of these are going to have the faster attack speed if you're wanting to go for 2.0. Now, when it comes to PvP, though, a lot of players like to go with the 1.2 cats. So this is where we have kind of a deviation or choice. You're able to go PvP players. I do recommend going with the faster attack speed. Those things just shred when it comes to combat, and it's all about burst damage in PvP anyway. But for sustained damage in melee weaving, you probably want to go with 2.0 for more raid encounters. And no worries, when it comes to capping Frenzy, you're going to be able to cap Frenzy with 4 out of the 5 points. No shame to you, though, if you want to be absolutely secure in doing 5 out of 5 on Frenzy, but I like to use those points elsewhere because I feel like it's not going to full advantage. Now, tune in for the next video when they release a new rune that changes everything, and there's a big change of Season Discovery, and you can just trash everything that I said in this video. I mean, who knows the Season to Discovery? And also, I just want to disclaimer everything that if you don't enjoy doing super min-max strategies that just really play the way you want to play, if you just want to go in there and just experience it slowly, don't feel like pre-questing and all that kind of stuff, there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I'm really curious. Let me know in the comment section below, what have you been getting up to with this kind of lull period between Phase 1 ending and Phase 2 starting? There have been some interesting releases in the survival world genre. I checked out Pal World. That's a weird ass game, but I mean, it's actually pretty fun. And then Enshrouded, I heard, has been doing pretty well as well. But mainly, I've been trying to push out my Night Elf Hunter. I'm doing an Alliance Hunter on a PvP realm. I'm trying to push it out before Phase 2 drops. So that's where most of my focus has been going. Anyway, I'm curious. Let me know in the comment section below, what have you been getting up to while you're waiting for Phase 2? And well, I was planning on keeping busy with Diablo 4 during this lull period, but all right, everyone, if the video did help you out today, please heroic strike that like button. If you want to stay tuned for more WoW content in the future, please bash the subscribe. I appreciate your time, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.